Check the 3-hour race about to start, 93 laps or 3 hours, but it will be starting thanks to the rain here behind the safety car. Just coming towards the end of their formation lap now. Pole man is the number 14 listed, just gone out of your picture on the left-hand side, Julian Bailey, and then his team. And push the car maybe. Well, consultation still going on, but the car, static pit lane, the engine not fired. Car, you can see them pushing the car, but doesn't seem to fire into life as yet. 27, Gabriele Sabatini and the Orlando Porsche exits the pits. The conditions inside the car, the windscreen already misting up, and that is the pace car off, but that will hand over to the safety car, so no jockeying for positions as we would normally see, and they will have to keep their form all the way round until the car pulls off and they get the green light for go. Back on board with the Freisinger Porsche, and well, still raining heavily, and they're hoping that the rain will back off a little. You can see how much water there is on that first turn, and the spray being kicked up from these wet tyres is nothing like what it would be under conditions. And the Ferrari in at the end of that first governed lap, and they're having problems with visibility, the windscreen just misting up, and the Ferrari's having a disappointing weekend, all sorts of problems in practice and qualifying, but high hopes that they will be able to do something as out of the pits goes the number 16 first racing Ferrari, Fabien Giraud at the wheel, and it is actually his birthday today. So a finish here would be the best birthday present he could expect, but he is right back at the field, the end of the grid now. Two Freisinger Porsches together there, and the difficult conditions still continuing, rain still falling, and the safety car still leads them. The car's just trying to get some heat into those tyres, just trying to get the brakes warm, keep the pressure up though on the rubber. But it, at the moment, will be another lap at least before they get the start. Well, early afternoon, looks like late evening almost, with the dark skies and the clouds still continuing to burst with this torrential rain that is falling. And, well, not good fun for the spectators, and certainly not good fun for the drivers. They were hoping for a dry race here, especially after the rains of Germany, and the rain so many times appearing for the 2000 FIA GT Championship. But Mike Hazemans knows that it will make things a little bit easier for him. And Vincent Voss, who we already said earlier, does like the rainy conditions and hopes that it might just make a slightly more even playing field. Vincent Voss with 100 kilos of handicap on board as they complete another lap underneath the regulation speeds of the safety car. Number 21 through, that is the Racing Box Viper, three-man crew, and the rain seems to have sided. The sun is still shining, but you can see the amount of standing water that is on the circuit, and even with the full wets that they are shod with now, it would still make conditions a little bit difficult. There's the current leader of the NGT Championship, Christophe Bouchou, and that is the Ferrari back into the pit lane, and it seems as if the problem is exactly the same, with bad visibility from misting. But now the lights are definitely off on the pace car. That will be pulling off as we reach the pit lane entry, and already the Lister's just starting to back off, let a bit of space grow between him and the safety car, and they will get the green light as they go through the start-finish line this time. And off goes the safety car. They round the turn, but the race isn't on until they pass the line. There's the green light, and it's on now. And Julian Bailey gets the hammer down already. We're on board with Hubert Hopt, who's trying to pass his teammate in the number 4 Freisinger, Ernst Palmberger, but it doesn't make it stick, although he's still trying, but has to yield and the spray making visibility very hard. You can see the concentration in his eyes as he tries to make that misted windscreen as clear as possible. But the news is the race is led by number 14, Julian Bailey, but number 12 has now got past the number 15, Lister, to take second place. So Lister in first and third, and then Vincent Voss was in fourth. Then it was the number 21 Racing Box car, and then we go to number 11, the other Paul Belmondo car, and then followed by number 4, Ernst Palmberger. And having a look on the inside of Hubert Haft there was, I think, the number 22 car. But we're on board now with Christophe Bouchou, leader of the NGT car championship. Windscreen wipers still going, but that's not due to the rain falling. It's due to the spray these cars leave behind. So Bailey still leads from Vincent Voss. Mike Hazemans has moved up to third place now. And down goes Philippe Favre. And that is 22 and 77 out of a battle there. 77 leading in the NGT class ahead of number 52, Christophe Bouchou. And there you get a good impression of how steep the climb out of the bottom of the valley is. But this is the race leader, Julian Bailey. Again, as always, taking the opening stint. He'll hand over to Jamie Campbell-Walter later. Vincent Voss second, Mike Hazemans third, Philippe Favre there in fourth place in the second of the listers. First, second and third places through, and all pretty much even, although Mike Hazemans has gained on the back of the Belmondo Viper. Hazemans starting to look threatening to Vincent Voss. Vincent Voss is carrying far more weight. 100 kilos is what he's carrying compared to Mike Hazemans, 75 kilos. Doesn't sound a lot, but it does make a lot of difference. Julian Bailey with the advantage of having clear visibility. And Mike Hazemans is still closing on the back of Vincent Voss. Then Philippe Favre is still there in fourth place. Then it's the 21 car. We're back on board with Christophe Bouchou in the Labre competition, Chirot Porsche 996. Second place at the moment in the NGT class, behind number 77, Luca Riccitelli. And Mike Hazemans going for the passing manoeuvre. Can he make it stick here? Don't think he's quite close enough. He is, though. He is. He gets the inside line, but just gets bulked down a little bit. And Vincent Voss fights back and keeps that second place position. But Hazemans doesn't look as if he's lost any ground there. And still chasing him hard as they go up the hillside. And this is good news for Julian Bailey, just allowing him to eke out a little more time on this battling pair. They'll slow each other up, but it looks like Hazemans is going for it again. Hazemans gets past Vincent Voss. Vincent Voss says, no, I've not given up, and just steals that inside line. Hazemans on the outside, transfers it to the inside, and Hazemans has got past. Vincent Voss down one place to number 3 now, so Bailey crosses the line. Then it's the orange Viper of Carsport Holland, Mike Hazemans, and then Vincent Voss in the Paul Belmondo Viper in third place now. Having a look on the inside into the first turn, seeing if he can fight back, but it doesn't look as if he can. Just go slightly wide as we're back on board the number 3 car with Hubert Haft. Down through the gears, still driving very cautiously, these drivers. A lot of standing water, although the sun is out, and the track not really showing any dry lines as yet. Windscreen wiper flat out as fast as it'll go. The water streams up the back of Mike Hazemans' car and into the gravel. Number 4, that is Ernst Palmberger in the second Freisinger Porsche. And they'll try and get him out of that gravel. And hopefully he'll be able to continue. That is allowed under the rules. But this is the leading car, the number 14, Lister Storm. And Mike Hazemans through second. Third place, Vincent Voss. Fourth place, Philippe Favre in the second Lister. And disappointment in the pit lane. It looks as if it's a retirement for the number 23 Lamborghini. Transmission problems have forced it out of the race early on. Well, the track now looking a lot better than it did. Not so much standing water. The very warm Czech sunshine is helping to dry it off. No change at the sharp end, though. Vincent Voss still in third place. And Boris de Richburg will be taking over for him later on. As through into turn one goes Julian Bailey. Mike Hazeman, lights on. And still trying to pull back the advantage that Bailey has. Through these S-bends. Well, lap time's a lot slower today. Around about 2 minutes for the just over 5-kilometre circuits was the time in practice. Obviously not expected to do that in race trim. This is the NGT battle. 77, Luca Riccitelli leads Christophe Bouchou, but how much longer is that going to be? Because Bouchou is right on the tail of the RWS Red Bull car. And Bouchou's got the inside line, carrying good speed through there. Holds it nicely as we go back to race leader. Just caught a sight of the number 24 Lamborghini that is still circulating here. The Reiter Engineering car. And Luca Riccitelli now has been passed by Christophe Bouchou. So championship leader now leads the NGT race. The Ferrari still going, but looks to be slow. And the Ferrari has in fact spun. And, well, visibility problems you can see for yourself there, but has sportingly moved over to allow everybody past. And dear oh dear, what do these Ferrari boys have to do? It would be such a shame if that is going to lead to a retirement. No such problems so far for Julian Bailey as the track continues to dry out, but still a lot of water in the lower parts of this circuit. Mike Hazeman's not making any inroads at the moment. Slight twitch from the back end, little bit. Oh, and dear oh dear, the Ferrari has gone. So unfortunately, Giraud retires out of the race on his birthday, and his teammate Jean-Denis Delatraz doesn't even get a sniff of driving in the race. Meanwhile, as we pick up number 4, Ernst Palmberger, who is being caught now by the race leader, caught because he was in the gravel earlier on. And now this is one of the slower Porsches, about to be caught by number 25, second place man. And number 53 it was, he's catching Ferdinand Lesseps in the other Labra competition, Giraud. And Hazeman's right up behind him now, but De Lesseps will move out of the way, let the faster man go through. And he does, so Hazeman's shouldn't have lost too much time there. And De Lesseps trying to get a toe off the Viper, but he's not going to get that for very long. His teammate, of course, leader of the NGT, and in the wars has been the number 50 Pennzoil Porsche of Magnus Vollander. Damage to the front, obviously gone off the track. We're back with the 21 Racing box car, which is behind the Freisinger number 3 Porsche, so he's been passed. Through for another lap. And having a look to try and pass, but not close enough there. And Hubert Hupt driving steadily so far in this race, but back in the garage, and they're still trying to get that number 50 car back on the road again.
The car was fine to begin, but then all of a sudden it started to be very slippery, so I just pulled down and I couldn't keep up with the pace, and finally I just locked up the brakes and went off.
Well, they'll be trying to get the car out, but that one's gone into the gravel. Number 55, Constantino Bertuzzi, the Art Engineering Porsche, well, struggling to get going, but looks As if he has got back, that's him, yes, so he's back on. Bailey in the number 14 Lister has led the race here at Brno right from the start. Conditions have dramatically improved, although everyone's still on wet tyres, and, well, pretty soon we should be starting to see the first of the pit stops. Julian Bailey comfortably ahead of second place man at the moment, which is Mike Hazemans. And you can see the spray from the rear of the car has subsided immensely from what it was earlier on in the race now. And just keeping it consistently in the time frame as we go back to see what's happening in the NGT class. That's number 57, Paolo Rapetti, in the other Art Engineering car, who is being caught and about to be passed by the NGT leader, Christophe Bichou. That's not for track position. That is to be lapped, in fact. So catching him very quickly, and it's not going to be long before he'll pass him. And the rain has started to fall again. You can see that. Windscreen wipers going, but you can see it visibly in the picture. And round the outside goes Christophe Bichou. And no problems at all. And he lost a little bit of time there. But there's Luca Riccitelli, who is the second man behind him. It's the Lamborghini just goes through. The Writer Engineering Lamborghini still continuing, but Christophe Bichou leads in the NGT class, ahead of 77 Luca Riccitelli in the RWS Red Bull Porsche. And we'll just clips into picture then. And we'll look back now to see if we can see where he is. There he is, just entering out of the turn now. But he still has to get past that other Porsche of Rapetti. Third place, Philippe Favre in the Lister Storm. He's moved back up again. And now, so third place, Lister's first and third. And he's just ahead of one of the slower Porsches, so he's done the lapping treatment on that car. Didn't see who it was, but Philippe Favre. Just looking at the rain, well, it's more of a shower. It's not heavy again, but has just made the track wetter. And into the pits, the number 12 car, Vincent Voss, brings the Paul Belmondo Viper in. And will they change to slicks at all? The driver will go to Boris de Richburg. There's the race leader, Julian Bailey. And of course the pit stops later than they would be normally because the wet conditions and the pace car start. Well, it's wet indeed. The pace car start would mean that they've burnt less fuel off, but wets again it is. Obviously conditions not good enough for slicks or intermediates. And out he goes, Boris de Richburg, for his first look at the wet Brno circuit in this race. But still leading, and still to start, of course, the Lister Storm. And 8 into the pits, Mario Cassidy. And he'll change over there to Manfred Duras. Gets the all clear, fires up the engine, and out he goes. And into the pits, the number 24 Lamborghini Bernd Müller gets out, and Michael Trunk gets in. Completed the refueling, completed the tyre change. Wets again, you can see them on there. Well, they haven't done the tyres because the refueling means they can change the driver, but they can't change the wheels until the refueling has been finished. As we're back with the lead Lister once more, and Julian Bailey still continuing to knock off. And problems. Yes, it is problems for the Lamborghini. It doesn't appear to start. And they're going to try now and push the car maybe. Well, consultation still going on, but the car static in the pit lane. The engine not fired. And they push the car. You can see them pushing the car, but doesn't seem to fire into life as yet. And that's 27, Gabriele Sabatini, and the Orlando Porsche exits the pits, and he's spun. Well, cold tyres after the pit stop and spins it. Luckily, hasn't beached the car, gets back onto the track and continues as the NGT leader goes through there. And this is the race leader and GT leader. This is the replay. And you can see the back end just goes away from him. Tries to control it, but it's already come round 360 degrees, but just keeps it on the grass and continues. You can see a lot of debris on the circuit there, a lot of stones from where somebody's been off, but Julian Bailey picks his way through. The rain subsided, the sun back out again as the number 11 Paul Belmondo comes in from 5th place. And for fuel, the driver gets out, and Claudia Guslin will be in that car next. As Hubert Haupt comes in too, he'll change to Kaufman. And into the pit lane comes race leader Julian Bailey into the pits. There's the Freisinger Porsche still being refueled. Lawrence Pierce holds out the stop board for the Lister. Julian Bailey gets out. And Jamie Campbell-Walter. Well, Slicks, we heard Slicks mentioned there. So Julian Bailey confirms that Slicks to be fitted to the car. Must be happy enough with that. Lawrence Pierce anxiously looking on. Jamie Campbell-Walter being strapped in. The wets come off. Will it be Slicks? Yes, it is Slicks. So they go on to Slicks. All done, down, fires into life and out, back into the race. Dark Sky still ahead, 79 in the pits now. Bob Volek, who is driving in the GTs. First race for quite some time, actually. He's been taking part in the American Le Mans series. He goes through his pit stop, and there is the number 14 Lister, and very slow indeed on the track. Very slow, some sort of problem. Is it the slick tyres that are just not suitable? But he's being caught now by the number 57 Porsche, Paolo Rapetti. The Art Engineering Porsche is going to catch and passes the Lister surely this time. The Lister just not working on those slick tyres at all. Well, that is, I conclude, the problem. Unless they have some other problem, I would think that if it's anything other than the slicks, then he'll be in at the end of the next lap. But this is the man that's leading. They've been in for the pit stop. David Hart now in the Car Sport Viper leads this FIA GT Championship race at Brno in the Czech Republic. And he's rapidly catching number 16, Michel Ligonet, who returned to GT racing at the last round. Luca Rischitelli into the pits for fuel, stays in the car, no driver change, which is a bit of a curious decision, and the Lister is in. The Lister returns to the pits. Now let's see what they do. They're going to put more fuel on board, and wet tyres come out. They weren't ready for them, but wet tyres are out. Lawrence Pierce, team manager, anxiously again looking on, and wet tyres going on. These slicks coming off, just not suited at all. So a lot of time being lost by the Lister, and all to do now, because he will be rejoining the race in something like 6th position, we think. Look to see whether anybody else passes him before he goes out. And there is the hardly worn slicks, but David Hart at the wheel of that orange Viper still leads the race, and he's ahead now of number 15, the Lister Storm, in 2nd place, number 12 Vincent Voss, Boris de Richberg, Kaufmann and Haupt in 4th place. Then it's the number 11, the other Paul Belmondo car, Paul Belmondo and his teammate Claude-Yves Gusselin, and then behind them is number 14, Julian Bailey, Jamie Campbell-Walter, and then 52, Christophe Bouchou, 77, Luca Riccitelli, and there is Pier-Angelo Maselli getting it all wrong. And the Art Engineering car, well, survives yet again and continues on. Is the race leader, David Hart, at the wheel, having changed over from Mike Hazelman's who did the first into the race and possibly will change back over again. We'll have to wait and see what they do with the pit stop strategy. It's all changed here. Springer in the Lister Storm, followed closely by number 12, Boris de Richburg. And de Richburg close behind, having a look, but into the gravel. Robert Nern being pulled off the circuits. And, well, not sure whether he'll restart again. Into the pit zone now, Nicholas Springer in the Lister. So fueled in, fired up, and we'll go back out again. Philippe Fabre back at the wheel.
Yeah, it was nice out there. There's a lot more grip than I thought, and I had a good time. I love this track. I think it's a fabulous track, and I love this country. I think people are so friendly with us here as well.
Well, obviously having a good time despite the weather conditions. Jamie Campbell-Walter behind the wheel of that number 14 Lister Storm. And a lot of work to do. Sixth place when they rejoined after that enforced pit stop to change back to wet tyres. And he's catching the 21 Racing Box car now. Very close, and he's going to have a look this time. And 14 passes 21. So on his way. And a long way to go to try and even attempt to get back the first place that they enjoyed for so long in the race before that first pit stop. In comes David Hart. And Mike Hazeman's there, ready to get in. Michael Hart in the open-faced helmet gets out. Or David Hart rather, Mike Hazeman gets in. And this is the number 14 Lister that is now in 4th place. So Jamie Campbell-Walter has moved up 2 places to 4th in the pits. Hazeman's on wets. Will he continue? Yes, he does. Continues to go out on wets once more. And Mike Hazeman's taking the final stint of the race here.
It was very easy to drive. It was a little bit stupid. I thought I was standing on slicks. And when it was raining, I asked the pits, put rain tires on because it's going to rain.
Well, Paul Balmondo in 7th place in one of his own cars, one of the 2 Chrysler Vipers that they run in this championship. But they'll be happy with a finish. And the 51 car in the gravel again. And boxed down. It's not sure whether it's going to get out this time. And a passing manoeuvre imminent, I would think, as Philippe Fabre puts the pressure on Boris de Richburg. De Richburg in 3rd place. And he is in 3rd place behind number 14, who's climbed up to 2nd place now. And can this be 2 Listers on the podium? It looks as if Fabre is going to make it stick. He does. He gets through the inside line. De Richburg, can he answer back into this turn? No, I don't think he can. And Nicholas Springer and Philippe Fabre take 3rd place. But on his last lap, and only a few turns to go through, Mike Hazeman's on his way to winning this 9th round of the FIA GT Championship at the first time ever at Brno in the Czech Republic. And he's just about into the start-finish line, moves over to his pit crew, and the flag is held for this man, who along with his teammate David Hart have won here. Hazeman's then takes the Carsport Viper to the checkered flag. Campbell-Walter drove back after the slick fiasco to take 2nd, and Fabre and Springer join them for the first ever Lister double podium.
No, it was good. Yeah.
No change in the driver's points lead. Bailey and Campbell-Walter stay at the top, but Hazeman's 4.5 points behind is the only one able to challenge for the title now. That means, though, that he must win the next and final round.